Oh, we come to visit an old friend. Just to kind of see how things are. Getting cold out there. As you can see, it snowed out quite a bit last time, or since the last time we made a video. And that was pretty interesting. That was more or less Thursday night into Friday morning. And I mean, the drive to work wasn't horrible. It was as bad as it normally is. You know, on a normal day it sucks, but I had to pull some dash cam footage of me kind of getting onto the street where my work is and kind of going for a little bit of a ride. So
can't see a thing.
No.
You're not afraid you're gonna flip over and drown?
It's like 8 inches of water.
Holy fuck.
Some people fall asleep.
Manual recording will now start.
Yeah, I was able to fall asleep.
Yeah, that was fun. But we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna head to the new spot. And we're gonna kind of figure out what we're doing for the rest of the day. So it comes across my mind the odd time about how long I've been doing this YouTube thing for. And it's been quite a while. I started off with just doing this with my old Fujifilm camera that barely shot video. Filming abandoned locations, or abandoned. And I took quite a break. And I remember one Christmas holiday, what really got me into it was sitting at home. It was Christmas break from work. And all I could think to myself was how much I just did not want to go back to work. Which obviously is inevitable, it's going to happen. And I looked at my old Sony HD video or Handycam or whatever. It's a small thing. I was even using that a little bit for some abandoned building videos. And I was looking at that. It was sitting on a tripod. I haven't touched it in a long time. And spinning. I hadn't touched it in a long time. And we started doing the rail fanning content. That kind of really took over for a little bit there. And fucking beautiful. I just love potholes. And then I decided to kind of get rid of the strictly rail fanning stuff because fantastic, another one. If anybody's gonna find them, it's gonna be me. And then like I said, I just kind of decided to stop with the strict rail fanning only content and just go back to the way I used to do things when I did out in the Ultima. It was kind of just whatever I wanted. And it's kind of where we're at right now. We do a lot of train related stuff still. It still takes over a lot of the channel. But it's not in the, usual aspect as most rail fanning channels would be, where they just film the train going by and that's it. They don't do any talking, nothing, which, people like that. They don't want to sit there and listen to some idiot ramble on about stupid shit they don't care about, like what I do. But there's some people out there that still watch it, so I appreciate it. But I kind of just cover anything I want to, talk about things from ham radio, CB radio, to FM radio, things going on in local stations, or not so local stations in my case of what I listen to. Just because I don't see anybody else covering it. I've been asked before, what's this Soper and Brown show that you're always talking about? What's this radio station you're always talking about? And I tell them, and then they just tell me they don't listen to the radio anyways, so somebody's got to cover it, and I'll be that guy, I guess. Well, it's looking quite different from last week. Something nice about it out here is that it's Well, actually, can you hear that? Exactly. It's nice and quiet. But I don't think we're going to be going for a walk down there because it's a bit chilly. And I don't like the cold. It was cold enough last weekend. So we might just sit up here and see what we can catch. And when I say see what we can catch, I'm meaning hopefully not a cold. Well, that's great. I just grabbed that this morning, and apparently it's dying. That's the old signal for the batteries dying on your radio, on your Motorola at least. So that sucks. I'm not gonna have that for today. May as well. Let's see if it'll do it again. There we go. So if you're ever watching police body camera videos like what I do, and you hear that in the video, it probably means the officer's radio is dying. Or if you hear this, oh, I'm gonna make it do it. I didn't know I could do that. Doesn't like that. But anyways, that first tone, that one, that's the not permitted to talk tone. Obviously this radio is programmed so it doesn't transmit on any emergency services frequencies. But in a normal scenario, when you'd hear that means you can't key up to transmit, and the frequency is probably busy with stuff going on. That's at least my understanding of it. So we're gonna try something else out today. Kind of seems to be a trend, but whatever. I stopped at the gas station the other night. I think it was Thursday night, and I'm so glad I did because I needed windshield washer fluid, and they didn't have any, obviously. And I stopped there to grab some windshield washer fluid. It was a different store than what I normally go to, and so I decided, why not? We'll grab ourselves a ticket. I'm gonna try not to look at the jackpot again. So we're gonna scan. I'm gonna have the ringer on again like I did last time and see if we get anything or not, and if we do, you'll hear it. I'm gonna try to do this way. See you again. Better luck next time. Fucking prick. I don't know why I bother. Same with this one. This was a couple weeks ago. I like to scan them on my phone, but then I also like to bring them to the store and use their scanner just to be sure. Because that would suck if something happened and it wasn't accurate. And you lost out on everything. I'd be very disappointed. Hell, I'm thinking I may have missed my only train for the day. I just had some old guy walk up the path though with his dog, and he come walking by the car. It was fucking classic. Sitting here just messaging somebody actually I haven't heard from in a while. And I don't know what it is with old people, but they like to stare. I'm not really sure where I left off last weekend. I ended up taking off and going seeing a friend that I haven't seen in a while. So didn't get that finished up. Something here I'd like to check. It almost seems to be becoming a trend whenever I start up a video. Yeah, that's the one there. So let's get you set up. I haven't scanned this yet, as usual. You know the rules. I don't do it unless the camera's filming. Come on. Daddy needs a new Motorola APX 7000. Where the hell is it? Son of a bitch. Fuck, I don't know why I do it. Fucking waste of goddamn money. Oh well. Whatever. Anyways, it seems to be, I don't know if it was this snowy last time we were out. Yeah, I think it was. It was only last weekend, so. As I was saying in my, probably previous video, that's why I hate doing two-parters. I can't remember anything that I did last weekend. I probably mentioned that I almost spun out on the way to work. And I was probably going to throw the dash camera footage in there too. That's if it's still on the dash cam. But on the way here this morning, there's the air turnoff on Highway 24A, or Old 24, or whatever people call it. And I don't know, for some reason when people like to go and turn down that way, which is very common, they'll be going, and then last minute hit the brakes, put their signal on, and go to turn. Not only do they go to the turn, they take their fucking sweet time doing it. So there's a truck in front of me, and he obviously got caught up with all of that shit going on with somebody trying to turn. He ends up fishtailing all over the road. He saved it. He did a good job saving it, but I got that all on dash cam too.
Manual recording will now start.
Closing right back. North Southern Ontario's best rock. 97.7 Hits FM. 97.7.
That's precisely the reason right there of why I don't drive my truck in the winter. Which, you know, sounds funny. Most people do rely on their trucks in the winter time, but mine is very lightweight. It's two-wheel drive, and it just doesn't like the snow, kind of like its owner. I put it into drive, and it just spins. It doesn't even go anywhere, so it's just pointless. That's why I have a nice front-wheel drive car for the winter time, because they handle a lot better in the snow. Yeah, get a decent pair of winter tires on there, and you're good to go. There's a few slick spots I hit this morning, but nothing I can't handle. Sometimes it gets a little sketchy, though, when you're going down the highway, you know, 80 kilometers an hour or whatever, which I know you shouldn't be going that fast when it's like this out, but grow up. When you get to a bit of a turn, and it just kind of feels like it's going to lose it a little bit and all that, so that kind of, you know, makes the undercarriage pucker. But we made it. I'm hopefully going to catch something. It is Sunday today, but I don't have to go to work tomorrow for not the greatest reasons, but I was busy yesterday and I was busy Friday, so today is my Saturday, and then tomorrow is my Sunday, and then I eventually have I guess it's holidays, but 2 week shutdown at work coming up too, so hopefully we'll be getting out more and doing some more videos. Yeah, you heard me mention Motorola APX 7000 again. Something I can't stop thinking about how much I want one. There is one on Marketplace in and around my vicinity, and I'm actually considering getting it because it's priced not too bad, considering. And it's a Model 1, so it doesn't have the screen or the keypad on it like mine does there. You know, it's got the screen and the limited keypad, and then I have one with the full keypad. But that's at first I was like, oh, it's a Model 1, I don't want it. You know, as simple as that. I don't want, you know, I want all the buttons and all the features and all that. So I was doing some research, and then I found out that you could take the Model 1 case housing off, which I would anyways, because I want to change it to a firefighter green style. And while doing that, you can also purchase the board with the screen and the keypad on it. So I'm thinking I might do that if I end up getting this. It's still a lot, but it's not thousands. So that's what's kind of making me go for it. I've been wanting one so bad, and if people don't really understand why, it's like, well, why do you want a walkie-talkie? First of all, don't call it a walkie-talkie, because it's not. That drives me up the fucking wall. Don't even get me started. But it's more than that, and in the Motorola community, it's kind of like a rite of passage. You get your XTS 5000s, whatnot, which I have here. I got 3 of them. I might actually sell the one that I have if I get this APX. But anyways, it's kind of nice to have one. Everybody wants one, and if I can manage to get one and kind of build it to how I want it, then that's even better, because I like tinkering with stuff. But enough of my yapping. I know pretty much almost none of you give 2 shits about radio stuff. Yeah, let's hope for something here. It's not the ideal day to be out taking pictures because the snow is falling, and snow kind of fucks up your picture anyways, so it might just strictly be a video day. And I don't think we'll be going for a walk down there, unless I really decide to grow a set and do it. But all I got on today is the vest and this Under Armour sweater. So certainly not enough to be outside, even though it's not that cold out today. It's cold enough for me. I love that sound. That's pretty cool to me, actually. That it kind of sounds like an old video game, I guess. But yeah, I stumbled across one of my favorite sounding digi modes out in HF. This is on 27635 upper sideband, and it's called Ross P. When I first came across that, it was around last winter, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I love it when I come across weird sounding shit out there on the radio, up in the free band, above the CB band. When I heard it last year, it wasn't this abundant. There was a short transmission like that came through, and it all faded back out to static. So this is pretty nice. But what I originally came up to upper sideband for was I wanted to come down here to 27700, where they do whatchamacallit, their SSTV. Yeah, like that. Now when you hear that, you might think to yourself, well, what good is that? Because I don't know it. Or I don't know what is being said or what's being transmitted or anything. That's when you download an app that I actually had to pay for. It's called, let's see. Well, it's actually just called SSTV, but the thumbnail for it's CQ SSTV. I had to pay for this one, though, which is the first app and probably the only app that I'll ever pay for. The only problem is that there's about 1 million different modes for SSTV. And I have no idea what mode these guys are transmitted on. Alright, well, I don't want to bore you with SSTV, so that's enough of that for now. It's fun to do, but it's also very challenging. It's getting chilly in here. So my buddy of...
Continuous recording will now start.
Absolutely it will. So a buddy of mine, he was just chatting with me on Facebook there, and he's asking what I do, and I said, I'm out of town. And he's like, where could you possibly be? I'm like, I'm out filming. So then we were talking about whatever. He's another one of the ones that doesn't really understand the train stuff. If you understand it, you do. If you don't, you don't. Then, you know, it's just how it is. You know, it's other people's hobbies. It's like, I don't understand how somebody can sit and play video games for hours, but they do. So it's just something I can't do. But I don't judge them on it. Anyways, he's like, oh, you still don't know the train schedules? I'm like, well, the freight trains that I'm actually looking for aren't on schedules. They just show up whenever, randomly, and it's just how it is. I'm like, yeah, via trains, yeah, they're on a schedule, but they're not what I'm looking for. Or a lot of people think, oh, it's a Sunday, so there won't be as much, or oh, it's a long weekend, so they won't be running. It's like, one thing I learned when I was very young, playing around the train tracks, around GCI and the Galt train bridge and all that, is there's a sign that I read. It was no trespassing. Train time is any time. So it's true. But yeah, he's like, oh, you don't know the schedules. I'm like, no. If I knew when they were coming, then I certainly wouldn't be sitting out here for hours, you know, for nothing. But whatever. It's still snowing out. It's not snowing out all that much, but it's snowing out. That's too much for me. Might take a walk up there though and have a look at those signals. I must have caught that Ross P data communication, beeping and booping sound and stuff. Must have caught it at the right time, because I don't hear it anymore. So I'm glad I got that, because like I said, I love that sound. Just, it kind of sounds funny to me. It's like, well, maybe I'll show you another one. We'll jump up into the 10 meter ham band and I'll show you something. So yes, nice and snowy. Glad I wore the big work boots today. Somebody else already made tracks for me. Yeah, I'm definitely not going for a walk today. Fuck that. I can't see the signals. I don't want to get up too close. -3 apparently to the car, but it's still far too cold out there for me. I'll tell you, that was another mode that I heard when the first time I heard that. It's another thing where I was like, what the fuck is that? It turns out that's another digi mode called FT8. It's something that ham operators will use to, it's basically their computer making contacts for them. So they're pretty much a lot of ham operators are on the fence about that. You get the old school guys who are like, nope, I will not use that. I can't stand digital modes, this, that, and the next thing. And then you got the other guys, like the operators of FT8, who, they're like, yeah, we'll use it, whatever. I'm on the fence. You know, I don't mind the idea of doing a digi mode and all that. But, I like the old school way of just, you know, talking over the air and making a contact. To me, it's a bit more authentic that way. But I'm not a ham operator, so my opinion doesn't matter. It's like kind of like radio, like FM radio to me. I listen to St. Catharines based rock radio station, and sometimes I have a hard time picking it up here in Cambridge, or if I'm in Kitchener, it's like impossible. Yeah, I could stream it on my phone and whatnot through the iHeartRadio app or wherever, but it just isn't the same to me, you know. I'd rather have you know, capture it live over the air, which right now it's actually coming in pretty good. But I don't, you know, the static bothers people too. You know, they're listening to static and it drives them nuts and they change the station immediately. It doesn't really bother me because of, well, I in this hobby I hear static all the time. So it's just the way it is. Like, I get where these guys are coming from, where they don't want to, you know, have their computer make contacts for them, which I don't blame them. But in a way, it's, you know, it's cool. You can sit there and do other things while making contacts, and you can log it and whatnot, you know. To each their own. Whatever you want to do. I remember when I went to the CB shop here with my Yaesu FT710, which I featured in my last video. There was a guy there. He was kind of the owner's buddy, I think. And he's giving me grief about having an SDR radio that has waterfalls, and which is the design on the screen where you can see all the signals around. And he's giving me the gears about that. And well, back in my day, we didn't have these fancy radios with waterfalls and this, that, and the next thing. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever, Grandpa, go to bed. And then they were talking about being ham operators, because I guess they both are. And what did he say? Something about not getting into being a digital mode guy, or don't become a digital mode guy when I do become a ham operator. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'll do whatever I want. But that's just an example there of somebody who, you know, doesn't like the idea of it, or has absolutely no interest in it. You know, that's fine. You know, you don't have to. There's many of frequencies out there. But funny enough with that guy, actually, he came up with my suggested friends not too long after that incident. I'm not going to say his name, obviously, but I stalked his Facebook account a little bit. And it's funny enough, I see in his Radio Shack room, or his ham shack, or whatever you want to call it, there was an ICOM 7300 sitting on the bench. At least that's what it looked like. And it had a waterfall. So maybe he's just jealous of mine. Imagine that. I don't know why you'd get an ICOM 7300 when there's a Yaesu FT710 available. Just, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you with the ham talk. It's a whole nother world out there. Well, no trains. But we may or may not be going to get a Motorola APX 7000. I can't believe this is happening. So I'm gonna bring you along with me. I hope it's not too good to be true. This shit. What is this, year of no snow fences? Like, fuck me. I was just coming down the highway there, and I hit a patch of snow like that, and it started dragging me towards the ditch. It was pretty scary. The last thing I need is to end up in the fucking ditch, and I'm on the way to go and get this thing. The worst thing to do, though, would be to slam on your brakes and all that. You just end up locking it up and sliding. So I just take the foot off the gas and I kind of just try to steer it.
Rescue response 678 Norfolk County Road 28, cross the lower side road and Fairground Road. Medical assistance, patient difficulty breathing. Rescue response 678 Norfolk County Road 28, cross the lower side road and Fairground Road. Medical assistance for patient difficulty breathing. Dispatcher 1059.
Somebody has difficulty breathing. I forget what I was saying. Yeah, either way, it wouldn't have been fun to end up in a ditch. For multiple reasons, you know. Just not good. But I wish some of these guys would put snow fences up so it would stop blowing on the fucking road. Well, boys and girls and whoever else is watching, we did it. We did it. I can't believe. And the excitement is, you know, it's hard to explain, like I said earlier. But, like, fuck, I could get out of my car right now and do the Newfie jig. I'm so I didn't think I would ever own one of these for years to come because they're so ridiculously expensive. But I got this one on a super, super good deal. My understanding is that the guy who I got it off of works for Bell or some sort of communications company, and this was what he used to use in the field of work but no longer uses, so he was able to sell it really cheap because, like, these things on eBay or anywhere else you find them, they go for like $4,000 to $7,000. I did not pay near that much at all, like not even close. It's a Model 1, like I said earlier. Take the I'll put you down. Take the sheath off the holder, which I'm fucking happy it came with that. So that's it there. Like, doesn't have the screen or keypad though. My understanding is that I can, like I said, I can get the screen and keypad for this and make it into a Model 3 or a Model 2, either or. The battery really isn't that big, but it feels big, and it's been flashed. He showed me everything in the software. Fuck, I'm speechless right now, honestly. Like, I'm so happy. What else? It came with this is car charger, so I can have it on. It's called a battery eliminator, so I can plug it into the 12 volt, so I don't have to kill my battery. It came with a second battery. It came with the Motorola Impress charger, and, you know, power cord with that. It came with the sheath. I call it the sheath. I don't know what it's actually called, but it slides onto the radio so you can clip it on, well, most clip it on their vest. It's got the VHF 7 to 800 megahertz and GPS antenna, which those go for a pretty penny. And in the box here, let's see. In the box, it comes with the, he said this is the Bluetooth speaker because they are Bluetooth. It comes with a black case, and it comes with the yellow case, which I like, with the yellow speaker cover, which I'm thinking tonight I'm actually gonna probably swap that over. That sucks. It doesn't have this one does, thankfully. It has the Motorola logo there, but on the speaker cover it doesn't have the Motorola sticker. So if those were bought aftermarket, that's why. So that one has the Motorola logo too. And this one on here has the Motorola logo as well. Which, whatever, that's not a big deal. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm sure I'm boring everybody. I'm sure nobody's even going to watch this part, but I don't really care. I'm happy, and that's all that matters to me. Because I finally own a Motorola APX 7000, and I didn't have to rely on a fucking cocksucking lottery ticket. So all those guys on that Motorola Collectors Worldwide page, when I was trying to get advice on how to get these and they were fucking chewing me up and spitting me out, they can go and fuck off. Because I got one, which I might actually have to go back for their help, but hopefully they don't see this. Alright, anyways, off the topic of that, because I could talk about that for hours. We're in a small, or only fucking a small, we're in a familiar neighborhood. If you're a viewer from the out in the Ultima days, let's turn this around. Considering I was in Hespeler anyways to meet this guy to get this, I figured I'd pop down to where I used to work. I used to work in that factory before we moved to Brantford. That warehouse way off in the distance right there on the far right side is the warehouse I used to work in every day. It was very cold in winter. Very cold. There also used to be a factory here. And I kind of covered the fire, or it being burned down, in my earlier videos. I was actually planning on filming that place before it burnt down. I actually bought a video camera like 3 weeks before it burnt down, and I wasn't able to film it, which it still sucks, but it happens. The offices for that factory used to be kind of down there. That stood forever, but they finally tore it down. I'm thinking we'll go and get a closer look. The guy who has his business or whatever in this factory now, I don't know, they're pretty paranoid or whatever. I don't know what you'd want to call it, which I don't blame them. There's a lot of fucking criminal activity that goes on around here. I used to witness a lot of it when I worked around here. People breaking in, copper thieves, this, that, and the next thing. So he's got cameras everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he were to come out and want to know what I was doing. Because I remember I actually drove down. Last time I visited everybody, I drove down that alleyway right there. And there's a bunch of Jamaican guys working in there, and they all were looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing here? I just said hi, whatever, kept on going. Because around back, in the back of this factory here, and way in the back of this one, all the way down there, they actually make baseball bats down there. The business is called KR3. I know a few guys that work there, and actually one of the guys that was the supervisor there is now at my place, and he's the supervisor there. So yeah, I know a few people around here, so if they would ever tell me to get off the property, I would just tell them to fuck off, because I actually know the owner of the whole property, not very well, but he knows who I am, and he's got no problem with me. So anyways, yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. I can't stop thinking about how I have this, and if I keep talking about it, somebody's gonna give me shit. So like, I don't know. Now, where does it go from here? It only can get better if I can just tinker around with this, program it, get some shit on there, because there's nothing on it. Can't listen to anything on it. He wiped it clean before he gave it to me, which, whatever, you know, he can't keep all of his secure stuff on there. for some guy like me who he doesn't even know. So it's either I'm gonna learn how to program it, or I'm gonna get a hold of a guy that I know. I'm gonna see if he can do it for me. But I'd rather learn how to do it myself so I don't have to rely on anybody. But the problem is I have the, I don't know if you can see, I have the XTS 5000 right there. I was gonna learn how to program that. I haven't gotten around to it yet. So he said if you have never worked your way around the programming software for an XTS 5000, you'll have a lot harder of a time with this, which I don't doubt, because like we said when we were talking, I love Motorola products. They're my favorite. But fuck, do I hate Motorola. They are not my favorite. They are pricks. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna head back to Cambridge. I promised my grandmother I'd drag the Christmas tree out of the basement, so I'm gonna get that done for her. Get it. I doubt it'll get put up today, but at least it'll be out of the basement and she can do whatever with it after that. What else was I gonna do? That's probably about it. I got this covered, so I got that taken care of. Might have to dig in my toolbox to see if I can find the proper tools to tear this radio apart and hopefully get the yellow cover onto it, because it's got like some orange cover on it right now, which doesn't look bad, but I like the yellow look, firefighter's look. And then I'm going to do more research to see if I can actually, because the guy in the video had an APX 6000 that he changed the display on, so he said you can do it for it with a 7000. So if I can, I'm going to. If not, then whatever, I still own one, so you know, you gotta look at the bright side. But anyways, you know what to do.